All right, I've been meaning to put out an announcement for quite a while, and so I finally got some time to get it all together, and I just wanted to give you like a quick little recap on weeks 1 and 2. And for that, I have a little agenda here. The first note you might see here, my mom has terminal cancer. We found out recently about this, and that's kind of caused some timeliness issues for me. So with that, my dad has quit his practice of fixing cars, so I've been spending a lot of time helping him get that taken care of, as well as taking care of my mom. So I apologize for some slowness in getting some grading done, but I'm hoping to get caught up. I've noticed many of you are off to a wonderful start, asking questions, doing things, and all of that stuff. So I appreciate that. The calendar and the due dates. I'm kind of switching things up so that all the grades will be moved to Canvas instead of keeping your grade in WAMAP this quarter, which doesn't mean anything to you except for I've got to move those over. So in the past, I've let students work on late work. You'll notice in WAMAP you have late passes that allow you to attempt the homework and the quizzes kind of whenever. I think a late pass gives you a 2-day extension, but you might have started the quarter with, say, like 500 late passes. So as I move the grades over, if your grade is in Canvas as something different, you might need to message me if you finish that work late. I've also been a little later publishing things than I was hoping to, so I've kind of pushed the due dates back a little bit. But we have that calendar is out there, the tentative calendar, and that's a pretty good indicator of when you should have stuff done. So with all of that, we're getting ready for our first exam, and so I think I need to go over some expectations. I added them to the week 2 module, or added some stuff here. So your exam's going to be done on a computer, whether you do it in person or whether you do it online. I try to have a window of time for it to be open. Unfortunately, I have to be out of town this weekend, and I've had a lot of stuff going on, so the window really for if you want to take it in person is probably Tuesday afternoon, because that's the next time I can be on campus. It should be open here fairly soon. I want to get it open. I have to be out of town this weekend, so I want to open it so that students that are done with Module 2 can take the exam. So usually it's open for 4 or 5 days, or at least 3 days. Anyway, you are allowed to use Excel. You can use a handheld calculator, obviously not a cell phone. Scratch paper is allowed. You just need to scan it and make sure it's clean, not written on before you start the exam. And there's a formula sheet from page 189. I'll add it to the exam module so that you can get that paper there. It's really not super useful for the first exam, and there's a few things on the second exam, but it becomes really useful for the third and fourth. Notes are not allowed. And with your exam, you need to submit exam work. Now, if a question doesn't need work, like if you can just read it and answer it, and some are matching and things like that, you don't need to write down the question and you don't need to make up work. The exam work should be what you do as you take the exam. If I have questions, I'll ask you those, and if you can't answer them, you won't get the points. But you do not need to write down every question. I can see your questions and I can see your responses, so the work should be the process that gets you there. And it's really useful in case, like, you copy a number wrong or something like that, then I can see, okay, we just copied this wrong, but the whole process is right. So you can earn a lot of partial credit and things like that. And WAMAP does some problems a really good job and some really not, that they're either all right or all wrong. So kind of the whole idea with the exam work is that I can make sure that I can see it and give you credit for the things you understand. With that being said, if you show your work well, it's usually easier for me to give more credit. If it turns into like I have to search around to find it, I've got 60 of these to grade, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time hunting through your individual one because I just don't have that time. I can't give too much to go through and work every problem for every student. So please label your questions. Make it clear, even if you don't label, but just follow a good sequence, start to finish. That will work for me. But I recommend you like labeling your work. Any kind of scavenger hunt doesn't usually end up with as much credit. Honor Lock is going to be used. Some of the Honor Lock expectations videos, they may be a little dated because Honor Lock is updating quite quickly as we get more AI usage. There's a video by Dr. Wallace that walks you through, and a couple with Mrs. Sherwood. that show you some expectations. The main thing with HonorLock is I need to see you doing the work. Like, I need to see your hands. I need to see that it's you. You should take these in a well-lit room, not like hiding out in the dark. If there's no audio or no video, your exam will become a 0 till we can fix it, which may mean you just get a 0. The idea here, you're taking an online class and you're reading and watching the videos that we're putting out about these things. So it's really on you to be aware of what the expectations are, and that's why I'm covering some of these here. But really, when we're looking at the HonorLock videos, it's mostly to make sure that you are doing the work. Sometimes students try crafty things. There's lots of things out there about how to cheat and do that and whatever. But it's really just so that we have some integrity to the classes. I'm not really policing them to see if people are cheating, but if your work doesn't make sense with your answers and things like that, we will. But also, it's just something we have to have for the integrity of an online class. If you're taking it in person, we'll probably still use HonorLock because it records some things, but you might not have as much. As you are working through HonorLock, I would recommend you take your time on things like the room scan and those. Make sure that they're good. We just want to make sure you're meeting the expectations there and that you're taking it and there's not a bunch of avenues for you to cheat there. Anyway, with that. The other thing is, when you put your phone away or what have you, just make sure it stays away. It's really good if you can kind of have a video of you actually taking the exam. So I know that many people have the camera that's on their computer, and that can be hard to capture your face and your hands at the same time. The library has external USB cameras that you can use, and you can just kind of post it up so we can see you. For the first exam, a lot of the work can be done on paper, so some people just set up their thing, look at the problem, write it down, and then go work it on a piece of paper so I can see them doing the work. Anyway, all those kinds of things, but it's kind of on you there. If you want to use a mirror or something clever like that to show your hands doing the work, that's great. Sometimes you have to tilt the camera down so I can't see your whole person a bit. That's okay. Anyway, just do your best there. I know it's a stretch there, but I should be able to see you doing the work as you take the exam. And obviously it should be your work. So your exam work will be submitted in Canvas. It can be kind of like a PDF or an Excel document. You can always take pictures and put them in your Excel document if you want to submit it that way. This class is actually geared towards using Excel a lot. The ag program and the business program have asked us to help students become more efficient with that, and many of the functions, like you can use the standard deviation, you can use the mean. There's a whole bunch of tools you can use in Excel, so you don't have to really remember as many formulas. So I highly recommend you becoming proficient with Excel. The project will require your work to be done in Excel, so you'll have to use it at some point. It's kind of best if you start early. But again, I know this first exam, there's some questions, like what's the sample, all those, they don't quite necessarily need Excel. So use the tool as needed. I'll try to provide some feedback. Sometimes students meet with me to discuss their work after. That works really well if you want to do that. There's windows open you can schedule during my office hours on Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, I'm checking the work to see about partial credit and things like that. So you may lose some points if you don't have work shown for those problems, but in general, it's more about adding to it. Again, your scratch paper, you need to start with a new Excel document. Please don't copy and paste old work in to do the work. That won't work. You need to start with a new document and work it from there. You should not be using the help feature in Excel, but you are allowed to use Excel. And again, please, the clearer it is, the easier it is for me to check your work. So don't make it a treasure hunt. Anyway, there is an exam review out, and if you know those questions, you should do fine on the exam. It's usually just a smaller subset of those. Sometimes they change in a little context or whatever. You do need to take the exam in one session. It is timed. And that kind of varies from exam to exam. You get one attempt on each question. If you realize you did something wrong, you can go ahead and make a note of it. Your exam work should be submitted within 10 minutes or so of the exam. So prepare ahead of time, show your work, take your time, ask any questions you have before you take the exam, and you should be allowed to copy and paste. It's set up that way, but sometimes HonorLock makes some changes. And I oftentimes use snips just to make sure things are there. Anyway, but good luck, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.